All right. Let's see. My internet's been in and out a little bit, so uh, the weather's kind of crazy. It's raining right now, so it's kind of affecting it. But how's everybody doing?
Good.
Tayshawn, Anonymous, whoever Anonymous. I don't know who's Anonymous is.
Anonymous, that's me. I'm on my tablet.
Who is that?
Kendra.
Oh, okay. You get paid?
I got paid. Thank you.
Okay. 832 area code. I have no idea. Who is this?
I think it's me.
It's who? Liz? Who was that? You say Liz? 832? Okay. And then Gwen. Other people will be joining us shortly. How's everybody doing? It's been a long day for me. Any questions before we start? Ask a question. I'm going to grab something to drink real quick, but go ahead and ask the question if you want to ask a question. It's recording right now, so.
So this is my first day. Tom, you hear me?
Yes, your first day?
Yeah, this is my... Oh, who is this, Charles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought you were off. Yeah, this is my first day, but I'm thinking about joining with Troy.
Oh, you a guest?
Yeah, I'm a guest, but I'm thinking about joining with Troy on the 29th.
Okay.
With Sam. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Let me turn my video off for a second. I can have better network quality. As long as you guys can see my screen there. So you're the 832 area code?
Well, I am. No, that's not me. I'm 4. That's not me.
Oh, okay. Hey, Charles, there. Okay. Well, welcome, guest. Waiting on a few other people.
Everybody hear me?
Yeah, I'm gonna mute everybody. I can hear you. Okay, can you guys hear me and see my screen? That's all I need to know. If you can, type yes into the chat. Okay. Gwen said yes, yes, Charles. Okay, so Freight Broker 101 is the basics of being a freight broker. Teaches you about the basics of being a freight broker, but it also recommends that even though I showed you the basics of being a freight broker, I also advise to help you guys as far as if you want to start off as a broker. I would highly, highly, highly recommend working under a brokerage to get some experience to build your book of business. Because starting off as a broker, you just coming in raw, it's going to be a challenge for you because you have to establish credit in the eyes of the shippers, and that could be anywhere between 90 to 180 days. So if you go to a shipper saying, "Hey, I want to move some of your freight, I want to move some loads for you," the shipper's going to look at you and say, "Okay, well, what have you done? What have you done? What experience do you have?" Things like that. So if you're just starting out, you're going to have a more difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're going to have a more difficult time getting shippers to say, "Yeah, I could add you to my my email list of loads that go out every day," because they're going to send it to the other brokers as well. As opposed to if you were starting off under a brokerage and you worked under that brokerage and you brought shippers under that brokerage because that brokerage is already established. It's already been in business. It's already moved loads and things like that. And you bring in shippers and then you build a relationship there, building up your book of business that way. Then you could, and then when you leave that brokerage after so many, like 6 months, a year, things like that, you can take your book of business with you, and that's your credit. Because when you leave a brokerage with your book of business and you start your own brokerage, you'll just communicate with those shippers, those customers that you had, and say, okay, I'm starting my own brokerage now, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer. And since I've been working with you and you know who I am, you know my process, we know each other, we have a relationship, I'll just send you my shipper packet and you just sign up under me and just add me to your list and we can just continue on as we were, as if I was under that brokerage, but it's my own broker now. So the transition of building that credit and establishing that relationship with that shipper that you already had when you were under the brokerage is easier when you leave that brokerage and form your own brokerage. You take that person with you, or persons if you have more than one shipper or customers, or a book of business as they call it. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes. And it's easier because by starting off as a broker agent under a brokerage, you do not have the financial nor the legal compliance responsibilities of a broker. The broker that you're working for has the bond. The broker that you're working for has the insurance. So those are expenses that you don't have to worry about. All you have to do is concentrate on bringing shippers on board and moving loads. Hello, Felicia. See you joined us. Welcome. So the transition is a little bit easier. So now the question becomes, well, what brokerages out there will give someone an opportunity to come in as a broker agent or a freight agent to work up under them with no experience and no book of business? There are some. I coincidentally work for one or work with one. If you come into a brokerage with no book of business, the commission split, meaning that the commission that's split between you and the broker is 50-50 if you have no experience. The standard split is 60-40, 60% going to the freight agent, 40% going to the broker. And then if you bring in some customers, then it's 70-30, 80-20, so on and so forth, depending on the number of customers that you bring to the brokerage, the experience or what have you. But if you're coming in with nothing and you just got formal training and you just starting out fresh, then obviously it's 50-50. They want to split it 50%, 50%, because you need to prove yourself, in other words, that you know what you're doing. You know, you can bring customers in, you can bring carriers under the brokerage, bring them on board and train and get them set up to be approved carriers under the brokerage, and then move those loads for those shippers with those approved carriers. So any questions on that part? And that's not to discourage anyone from wanting to start off straight to brokering. I'm just telling you, I'm just trying to make the transition a little smoother. If you come in as an agent under someone and then branch off later to a brokerage, it'll be so much easier for you and lesser of a challenge than it would to just be starting off fresh as a broker. I have a friend, she's a broker, and she's close to me. She lives in my area, and it's a challenge for her because she started off fresh as a broker. She knows about broking, but she started fresh. And now she's calling all these shippers. She finally got a shipper, but it was, it's a challenge. Calling all the shippers, and shippers are saying, okay, well, what do you have? What experience do you have? Have you moved any loads? How long have you been in business? Some shippers will ask you these types of questions. How long have you been in business? Have you booked any loads? What's your authority? How long have you had your authority? Things like this. Because if I'm a shipper, or if you're a shipper and a broker comes to me asking to provide a service for me, those are some of the questions that I would ask. If you put yourself in the shipper's shoes, those are some of the questions I would ask, because I want to make sure that my freight is getting to where it needs to get to in a timely manner and safe. So if I'm a shipper, if I'm going to bring a broker on, I want to make sure that it's a broker that's proven, that has some experience and know what they're doing. So that's why I was saying the transition will be easier for brokers or people who want to be brokers to start off as perhaps, and this is just an observation of mine, start off as agents, get the experience, get as much experience as you can, maybe like 6 months to a year, without the expenses for yourself, without taking on those expenses of having to pay for that $75,000 bond, that surety bond or trust fund, having to pay for the authority, having to pay for the insurance, having to pay for the processing agents in whatever state that you're going to be moving freight in. So these are the requirements. These are the criteria to be a broker. So if you are ready to do that, and if you have revenue not only to cover those startup expenses, but to cover costs to maintain your business for at least a year, then by all means go for it. But if you do not, and you would honestly know if you do not have those expenses to start up as well as maintain between 6 months to a year, my advice, and you could take it for what it's worth, but my advice would be to consider working under a brokerage that's established, and that will give you an opportunity to hone your skills as an agent. So when you do branch off, you'll know you'll be in a better place because you would have established credit with your customers, and you take those customers with you. So, are there any questions about that?
Oh, Charles, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So if how long would it be before we get signed up? Right, with a broker.
What do you mean, like if you want to start with a broker and work as an agent under them, or?
Right. So like after we're done with this class, you put us with a broker, right?
Yeah. I have one. What I do is I kind of assess you guys based off of the training that I give you, and I'll let Kim tells me, she says all you got to do is give me the green light that you got some members on this training that are ready to transition to be agents. Then I'll say, okay, yeah. Now who am I speaking to? Who is this?
Oh, Kendra. Sorry.
Okay, so if I say I think Kendra's ready, Kim. So then Kim will reach out to you, and then you guys discuss the particulars of you guys coming on as far as the commission split and whether you want to take your book of business. Because I have nothing to do with that. I just train you up to the skill set ready to be an agent or broker agent. And then when you discuss with Kim the particulars of your agreement with her, because that's between you and her, again, I have nothing to do with that part. But then that's where I'll let Kim know that, Kendra's been trained. She understands the particulars of what it is to be a freight agent, getting the shippers, understanding the process, navigating the TMS system and things like that. So I'll gauge it and let her know, who I think is ready, in my opinion. And you can tell me as well, and then we can test that, And one of the ways of testing that, because while you're training too, you also have I'm also presenting an opportunity while you're training to make some income as well, and this is through the brokers I work with now. While you're training, if you get a shipper while you're doing your training, my commission split with the brokerage is 70-30. 70% to me, 30% to the brokerage. So if you get a shipper while you're in training before you're ready to be an agent, and that shipper signs up with the brokerage that we're under, the brokerage that I'm working with, I will split my commission with you or whoever that may be. I will split that 50-50. In other words, you get 35% of every load that's booked. You'll get 35% of my 70%, and I'll get 35% of my 70%. Of course, the brokerage will get their 30%, to total 100. So that's why you're basically earning while you're learning. And then also too, an extra incentive to that is when you leave the training portion of it and you become an agent, that shipper that you brought in during the training, that's your customer. So you take that into the brokerage as one of your customers. So now your commission split, you keep that, whatever that commission split is that you and Kim decide. If it's 60-40 because you came in with a client now, it's maybe 60-40. So now I don't get anything for that when you transition into a freight agent and you take that customer that you brought in for the broker into it stays in the brokerage. In other words, you just keep your percentage when you become an agent, whatever that becomes. If it's 50-50, it may not be 50-50 because you didn't come in with nothing. You came in with a shipper, so it might be 60-40, which is standard. Mm-hmm. You follow that?
Yes, I got it. Okay.
Hey Charles, I want to piggyback off of that.
Okay.
So I know you when we first started out, you was considering changing the time and the days. Where are we at with that? Is that still something that's doing? Because I've been looking for shippers, but then of course we eventually need to start calling shippers. So I'm a little hesitant about that.
I'm thinking about doing it. Let's see, this is March. I would say the end of April. I want to fine tune this a little bit, so I would say by the end of April, I'll change, like the 1st of May, I'll change the times maybe to like I do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays from 11 to 1 for dispatch training. I may do Tuesday and Thursday from 11 to 1, so I'll have a whole week of doing something training for a freight broker, Tuesday, Thursday from 11 to 1. So that'll give us time. But the only thing is, during those times, instead of me calling too, I would want, because this is more of I don't want to say it's an advance, but it's a transition from dispatching. So instead of me calling, if you guys I'll train you on what to do, but then I would expect you guys to do more of the calling than me. I mean, I'll do some calls. Like I did like 17 calls a day and got about 5 emails sent out, but
Okay, well, so what I'm saying is we haven't touched on, me calling, and obviously the training time that we train right now, we can't really call because most of them close down. So,
right.
Can we set up some sort of like you do with the mock calls for dispatching, where one of us act like we're calling you, and you act like you're the shipper, so we can get a feel for what's the verbiage and what they're talking about, what questions they're going to ask.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things that I was going to go over tonight. Mm-hmm. Mock calls. And since you brought it up, would you be the first volunteer?
Hey, sure, I'm fine with that. Because I've been looking up carriers like when we went over last week the LinkedIn stuff.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? I've been looking up. I've been shopping through LinkedIn, sending out requests and sending the messages to shippers and the people that work in logistics in general. But I'm like, well, damn, if they say call them, I don't really know what to say to them, so to speak. Right. Other questions they may ask me about the brokers that I really don't know too much about. You understand?
Right. So by the way, if you do, let me put this in here. If you do call and get a shipper that's interested, you guys need to reach out to me. I'll send you a copy of the, especially those who are in the training now. We have a revised shipper packet. So while you're in the training, if you got a shipper that's interested and you need the shipper packet, I'll go ahead and send it to your email so you will have that going forward. Mm-hmm. And then have them reply to this email while you're in training. Exodus at metronite.com. That'll bounce to my email. It's a forwarding email, so when you send it to your regular email, you'll send them your regular email, the shipper packet, but tell them to reply to this main email, and it'll also have on the shipper packet our regular company email as well. But this one can be used too, because I want to keep track of who gets feedback from shippers and things like that, as far as whose customers will be whom's when they decide to be an agent and take those customers with them. So the verbiage, this is one of them, and I use this in LinkedIn. I've been communicating in LinkedIn, and this is just fragmented stuff. Like this is not all one thing, but it's just fragmented. But right here, an email body when sending out shipper packets. Did I spell this word incorrectly or something? Okay. Let me go to another I think this is the right one. Okay. So yeah, essentially, when you call a shipper, you have about 20 seconds to a minute to get your point across, basically introducing who you are, and then letting them know that you're trying to provide a service for them and how can you get set up with them. So now you take those 3 phrases and you put it in a one unified sentence or sentences in a way to let them know, like, hey, this is Tayshawn with Metro Night Logistics. And then you say, I'm trying to see if I can get set up with you, or however you want to say it. But you got seconds to a half a minute to do that. So this is one example. This is an email body, but I'm just showing you guys this. So when I do send out a email to the shippers who said send me a packet, this is what I put in the body of the email, or one of it. You can kind of tweak it for yourselves.
Hey, do you have so I'm gonna cut you off. You have a shipper script, or do you just have the dispatcher script, or was that on RBBS? I've seen that.
RBBS has a shipper script. I have a shipper script as well.
Okay.
Actually, on the dealing with shippers right here in the website. I think it's a pass. Let me see. And I'm going to be adding to this website as we go. But this was just one example of dealing with shippers.
Hey, you also said something about the processing agents, right? So you need a processing agent for starting your own brokerage and your own transportation company?
No.
So just for the brokers?
No. The processing agent, it's advisable to have a processing agent for your transportation company because you never know if someone's going to file a claim against you with your transportation company. So the purpose of the processing agent, for those who don't know, is someone who can sign or accept legal court papers when a proceeding is being brought against you. And you can be your own processing agent. And for every area that you operate in, every state that you operate in, or every state that you transport, you need a processing agent for that state. And one processing agent can handle more than one state. So you might have one processing agent, and they handle 20 states. So that just covers almost half of the country. So when most people hear, so when most people hear processing agent for every state, to hire 48 people or 50 people for every state, no, that's not the case. You may have one person who handles like 30 states, or has a large processing company that has agents in there that handles, the majority of the country, or a certain region, or they call them zones. So.
Got it. Because I was looking on the FMCSA. And I seen that on there, and they made it seem like you have to have it for your transportation company if you're going to operate in multiple states. And I'm like, okay, well, shit, I got to pay for that too. But
it's a lot, ain't it?
They try to run every dollar. I'm trying to save somebody, man. Yeah.
Right. That's why I was saying it's good to build your revenue stream up while you're under a brokerage. That way you're not paying for those services until you're financially ready. Like if you build up enough income to sustain you for 6 months to a year, and you feel that you have the skill set to start a brokerage, then that'll probably be better planning on your behalf as opposed to coming in cold turkey with no experience, no credit built up, things like that. You're going to be climbing a hill, a slippery slope. So. And most people advise that. Some broker trainers, they'll just train you and give you the skills that you need or the base skills and just send you on your way. Good luck. Go make some phone calls and, good luck. But they don't tell you the intricacies of doing all that. You see, there's things that you have to consider. When you call shippers, and you put yourselves in the mind of a shipper, the types of questions they're going to ask you. Okay, well, you're interested in moving my loads. Okay, let me ask you a few questions, Mr. Broker or potential broker. How long have you been brokering? How many years? How many loads have you moved? Do you have assets, or do you just have contracted carriers? Are you an asset-based brokerage, or do you have contracted carriers? There's a difference between that. I'm not sure if everybody knows that. If you are a broker and you brokerage and you have your own trucks with your brokerage, like if you have a trucking side of your company and you have a brokerage side of your company, then you can use your trucks on your broker side, and they can be called an asset-based brokerage. But if you have a brokerage with no assets or no trucks in it, and you're just getting carriers to sign up under your brokerage to move those, then those are contracted carriers. You have to get them signed up with a carrier packet, get them approved before you call a ship. That's another thing. Do not call a shipper, and this is for future brokers, do not call shippers letting them know that you have a truck for the load until, and this should be obvious, but it's happened before. I've actually got off the phone the other day with a person who did it. Do not call shippers letting them know that you have a truck to move their load, because once they send you that load tender, then that load is yours. You're responsible for that load. There was a case where a broker told a shipper that they had a truck for a specific load going from a specific place to a specific place, A to B, whatever, and the shipper sent them the load tender, so now the load is theirs prior to them completely getting the carrier set up. Now they did the smart thing. They was getting the carrier set up. They sent the packet to them. They started the process of doing that, carrier packet, sending over the W-9, the MC authority, and the certificate of insurance. But while that paperwork was being sent up to their compliance team, there was a red flag on the insurance. I think the insurance had lapsed and expired, so they couldn't get the carrier approved. So now they're scrambling, trying to find another carrier. They couldn't approve that carrier because that carrier had to take some time, get out the system for being approved, and go get their insurance up to date and things like that. And it was, for some reason, it was a longer process than it normally would take. All you have to do is just call your agent and get it changed. But for some reason, it was a longer process. So now the broker scrambling, trying to find a carrier for that load. All the while, the shipper's calling them and say, "Hey, I thought you said you had a carrier. What's going on? I'm ready to call the receiver, let them know that, you know." So it was just a big mess. So prior to letting the shipper know that you have a carrier for the load, make sure that your carriers are approved if you're not an asset-based carrier. In other words, if you don't have your own trucks already for your company, then make sure that your carriers that you're contracting or getting them approved for your brokerage, make sure that they go through that process completely, and then let the shipper know that you have a truck. It just looks better for you, for your brokerage in the long run. It looks more professional. So, okay, so in here, in Freight Broker 101 training, for those who are members with access, if you're not a member, you won't have access to this area. But under the dealing with shippers portion, there is there's a script for cold calling, for dealing with the person that we call the gatekeeper, or the person who answers the phone, like the receptionist, who gets you to the person that you need to talk to, like the logistics manager or the shipping manager. Someone may be at a big company and answer the phone, "Hey, hello, reception," or whatever. Who may I direct this call to? That's the gatekeeper. So that's a script for that, right? So gatekeeper's call script, and then you have someone when you get to the shipper. There's a script for that. So the gatekeeper's call script is, "Hey, my name is Tashawn. You know, your name here. My name is Tashawn, and I'm with, you know, your company, Tashawn's brokerage," or whatever. I was wondering if you could tell me who was in charge of shipping, or who was in charge of logistics, or, you know, whatever the phrase you use, but it's just the roundabout way. So they'll say, "Oh, yeah, that's Mike. You want to be transferred?" You'd be like, "Sure." So she just gave you the name. Write that name down, Mike. Or do you want his voicemail? You know, stuff like that. That's how you get past the gatekeeper, or one way, or a way. Now, this will give you the person's name, and she may even transfer you through to them directly to their voicemail. And, of course, this is what you want to happen. Once transferred to the person in charge, then you need to speak to them. So now there's a script for that. And this is just a generic script. You can tweak it and enhance it as much as you want. But remember, as long as you can remember, you got between 20 and 30 seconds. You can make your script however you want, as long as you get the main points of the phone call out and what the purpose of your call. You're trying to provide a service for the shipper by helping them become more efficient, moving their freight, getting their freight moved. So, shipper call script example. Go ahead.
Yeah. So for once we get through this point, where does the negotiation for I guess the prices that we can move? Because at some point we're gonna have to go through that, or is that after You know what I mean? When they fill out the shipper's packet, they're just going to put what they're charging for that? Or how does that work?
That works when, okay, say you get past this, you have a conversation with the shipper. It's a good conversation. They say, send me the packet. You send them the packet. You get set up. Your factory company, whoever approves the shipper for whatever line of credit they approve them for, they get approved. The shipper starts sending you an email list every day of their loads.
Mm-hmm.
It's there that you look and say, okay, sometimes in the email, they'll say the loads are negotiable or not. You can call that shipper back and negotiate the rates. Now, there's where you determine what your spread is. I'll give you a sample copy of one of my shippers that sends load. Now, these loads are terrible, by the way, but that's why I'm not even touching them right now. I thought I had some on the desktop. They're lumber loads, and they email them out every day. And yeah, here we go. Okay, the spreadsheet. So lumber loads, they're lumber out of Florida, Tampa International. Everybody deals with them because Tampa sends about 100 brokers emails every day of their loads. And lumber loads are hard to move, just so you guys will know. I don't see what everyone else doesn't say in freight broker training. I want to express because I don't want there to be any surprises while you guys are learning. It's just better that way. If you know what you're dealing with going in, then there won't be any surprises. So as I come across experiences, I will share that with the group because I don't want you guys to have the same headaches, right? That's the whole point. There's no point in you guys going through the same experiences. If you have someone who's going through those growing pains for you already and then tells you, okay, don't go down that street, take this one instead. If you choose to take the one I told you not to go to, then that's on you. But I'm telling you, don't do it because there's a reason for it, right? So, but to answer your question, Tayshawn, so here's Tampa International. So what they'll do, they'll send out, now these rates, this is the rate column. This is the loaded miles column. These are lumber loads. And if you notice in their message, in their spreadsheet, you could book these loads. You have 2 to 3 days out to book the loads to find.
I can't see a screen, man.
You can't?
No.
Can anyone else not? Yeah, I got it up now. Can everyone see? Tayshawn says he can't see my screen. Who else cannot see my screen?
I can't see it either.
Interesting.
I can't either. I thought it was just me.
Yeah, it went black for some reason.
Okay, let me see. People are saying, I can't see it, I can't see it. So everybody's saying they can't see it, but I got it, it's up right now. So let me turn it off and then share it again.
I see you. Okay.
Or I'll tell you what, let me close all these PDFs because maybe there's a limit to how many things that can be shared on the screen. How about that?
Mine is busting.
No, I still can't see it, but I'm gonna refresh my screen. So
interesting, because I got it up here as being able to be seen, but let me I took everything off except let me unshare it and share it again. Let me turn off my video. Yeah, I don't wanna scare you, so I'm gonna turn off my video. And let me do my screen share one more time.
All right, I can see it now.
Okay. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So this is a load list from the lumber loads. It's 48,000 pounds, and then in the note sometimes it'll say whether it's tarped or not, the special instructions from the shipper. These are the shipper target rates for each of the lanes. Okay? So a lane, of course, like load number 1, each of them are numbered, load number 1. So number one's lane is Cottonton, Alabama to Aceworth, Georgia, 157 miles. The shipper wants to pay $475 for that load. Now, remember, it is negotiable. We'll negotiate right there. So this shipper at least lets you negotiate. It says call. They want you to call them for all rates on all loads. So, and you can book up to 2 to 3 days out. So you got, in other words, you got 2 to 3 days to try to find a carrier for that load, which is nice. That's decent because most shippers don't do that. They'll post the loads and expect it to be gone like within a day or two. So, but here are the different rates for the lanes for this shipper, and they're lumber loads, 48,000 pounds. Sometimes they're tarp, sometimes they're not. Okay, so now as far as negotiating, that's what that is right there. You negotiate there, but let me bring the calculator up. I'm gonna give you. So the reason why lumber loads sometimes are hard to move because the rates that the shippers are wanting to pay for these miles ran may not be good enough for a carrier. So for example, the first one, $475 is the rate divided by the loaded. Sorry about that, guys. I lost my internet. Can you guys hear me?
I hear you. It's Kendra.
Okay. Yeah, I lost my internet. Yeah, I turned my camera off for because it's raining out here for video purposes. For the video is the internet is going in and out because of the weather. But where I left off at, and hopefully it's still recording. Okay. So if this example here, the 475 at 157 would be $3.02, $3.03 a mile. So if you take $100 off of that, then that's what you'll make. So if you sell it to the carrier for $3.75 at the 157 a mile, then that's $2.38, right? And that's how that works in every case. If you just want to price the rate when you post it on the load boards for the carriers to see in a way that you make a decent amount of money and they make a decent amount of money to entice them to want to move that load. That's how it works on the broker side. So a broker is a true middleman between the carrier and the shipper. Now, dispatchers, of course, is a true middleman between the carrier and the broker. But the really true middleman, because you're dealing with the money person, the shipper, and you're dealing with the person who needs to move that commodity or freight in order to make the money. So the broker has to be willing to wiggle a little bit in order to satisfy both sides. That's what brokers are doing. So to satisfy both sides on the first example, I would either move this load at a $50 profit, anywhere between $50 to $100. So if I was to take $50 off of this and quote it at $425 for the carrier, I'll keep the difference from the $475 that the shipper sold it. I'll make that $50 for that one load of 157-mile run load. Then that's what, 157 at 25. That's 270 miles. Someone will be willing to move that quicker. And I'll book that load, make that quick $50. Now, say you do that 10 times a day. You move 10 loads a day at $50 per load. That's $500 a day on one load. Now, say you average 10 loads a day at $50 per load a day, $500 a day times 5 days. Starting out, that's not bad if you keep your margins low. $2,500 a week starting out, moving those loads. Now, over time, the shipper's going to see that you're moving those loads. You're going to build a relationship with that shipper. They're going to start giving you more loads. The volume is going to increase. Thus, the negotiating ability is going to increase. So now you can change your negotiating skills from making $50 off of each load to making maybe $75 or $100 off of each load. And now you got 20 loads that you have to try to move. So it's all about volumes. But then sometimes you may see some brokers who may get greedy and try to go for the home run on a load. So you might have a broker who may take this $475 and try to knock $200 off of it. And they'll say, okay, well, I'm gonna put $275 to the carrier, and I'll keep $200 for myself. So now they're only going to move that load at $1.75 a mile. So are you guys understanding that? You're following that process? Right? And can you guys still hear me? Okay. So are you following that? Did you get that process with that concept right there? So think of it in terms of volume. So with this one here, the next one, let's do the next one as an example. Now remember, these rates are the shipper's rates. They're not the rates that you're going to post them on the load board for the carriers to call and want to book that load. These are the shipper rates. So if you want to make some money, how would you go about? Now this was a good load. This is 1,400 from the shipper side, and it's 680 miles. So somebody give me an example of what they would post that load for. What rate would they post that load for on the load board and still make some money for themselves, a little bit of money for themselves, and the carrier will be willing to move that load? At what rate do you think would be a good rate to post that? Based off of what I did with example number 1. Who will want to volunteer to do that? And next we'll move on to the scripts too. So load number, yeah.
So what I would do is, for one, I would probably try to get them to go up a couple $100.
Okay, so you would.
The screen just went black again, also.
I'm looking right at it, and I got internet. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I still see you. I'm writing the calculator in this stuff.
Oh, you still see the screen?
I do. This key, yeah.
Okay. Are you on a computer, Tayshawn, a laptop or a tablet?
No, I'm on my laptop.
Okay. Are you? Does everyone else see me? Tayshawn said he can't see me.
There it goes. Back up now.
Okay. All right. So See, it's storming out here, but it's intermittent. Yeah, you could do it that way, Tayshawn. That's a good idea. You can either call the broker, go up a couple $100, and they'll sell it. They'll do 1,600, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, go up 1,600, and then I'll let it go.
And then you will post it at 14 for the carrier.
14 or 15, just depending how I'm feeling.
Okay, so then if you're going to post it at 14 right now, if let's say you get 16, if you post it for 14, then your cents per mile is going to be right over $2.
Yeah, like
206. Yeah, 205, 206. And then if you go at 15, if you make $100 off of it, if you do it at 15, it's 220. So that's more enticing. So I'll be willing to I'll make a little $100 off of that one load because all you're doing is just changing numbers in the system. When you book a load, let me show you exactly how that's done. When you book a load, like say for example, we called the and I'm gonna write this down before I go inside of the TMS system, because let's say we're past the point of we having to call the shipper. We're past the point of getting it set up with that shipper. We're at the point right here where we got a load from the shipper, and we're looking at load number 2, right? So, and the shipper gave it to us for 1,600, and we're going to quote 1,500 to the carrier. So it'll be a $2.21 per mile load, right? And it's, what is it, 680 miles at 1,500, and we get it from the ship. So say we got all that. Say we got our carrier, that carrier, 48-foot flatbed, 48,000 pounds maximum capacity. So we call the shipper and say, okay, we got a load. So now they send us a load tender. Right? They send us a load tender. So what do you do next? Let me show you what you do next. You'll go in to whatever TMS system that you're using. In our case, it's Ascend. And this is literally the process, right? This is just one TMS system. There's many TMS systems that will be used. For some reason, my internet. See, earlier today it was fine, but now it's okay. All right. Yeah, a TMS system is a transportation management system used to, it's a centralized repository of data where you keep track of your shippers, your carriers, the assets, document management, invoicing and billing, things like that. So let's go into, so when we first get into here, get a load, so now you go into loads. Now you want to build a load. So you get a load tender back, so you build your load, right? You go in here, you go to the new load wizard, and I'm just showing you guys this. Just a raw thing. All right, so you get in here in load basics. So in here you got load basics, customer information, carrier asset information, edit the number of stops, financials, and then you save the load or what have you. So first you do load basics. Now this is in each step, boom, customer information, boom, 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 there's sections, right? So the first one, the load edit, is we're in the planning stage, right? So we'll need carrier or pending. We'll say it's pending because we haven't booked it yet. There are other categories, like under number 2, it could be an active load where you already booked it, but it's active and you're waiting for something else, driver sign, dispatch, whatever. And then under number 3, the load is completed and to be billed, actual claims, things like that. So generally, when you first build a load, you're going to choose an option under number 1 usually. You need a carrier, need a driver, booked, awaiting confirmation. That could be one too, booked, awaiting confirmation. But we haven't booked it yet because we haven't built the load yet. So it can't be booked because it hasn't even been built. So either new carrier, so pending is probably the best option. truck status. Let's see. The options are, these are options. You know, before you load, during the load, before you load, prior load, dispatch. So number one is usually the first when you first book after you get your carrier set up and everything. So set up packet sent to carrier. Let's assume that we already sent a set up package already to the carrier. We already have a carrier set up in our system. He's already been approved. Okay. So we'll say carrier setup complete. So we just because you have options on the carrier setup. Carrier needs setup, we already have one. Setup packet sent to carrier, it already was done. Insurance verification needed, that's covered. Carrier setup not complete. Let's say carrier setup complete. So we already got our carrier ready. We just need to build the load. So reference number, we'll just say 1, 2, 3. We can put anything in there, right? Equipment type. Of course, this is the flatbed. Flatbed with tarps. It should have with tarps, but if it doesn't, we'll just say a standard flatbed. A flatbed with size like that's a Conestoga. We'll just say flatbed. The length 48, right there. It's full truckload. It can be full. It can be part cases full. The weight typically flatbeds 48,000 pounds. You can always put the max weight. Even if it's less than the max weight, always put the max weight. That way you have a limit. Okay. Air temperature, because it's not a reefer. The commodity should be lumber in here somewhere, but we got livestock, temperature controlled. We'll just say general dry goods. Lumber, we'll call lumber general dry goods. Okay. Well, down here. Now we got load notes. So can you guys still see the screen? Make sure everybody's still following. Okay. Just making sure. And this is the TMS system. This is where you build your load and establish that. So as you're an agent or a broker, this is what you actually do. So under the load notes, you have different types. Public load notes, private, and then load posting notes and comments. So public load notes means that this is public and will appear in the load confirmation. So the load confirmation and the rate confirmation is the same thing. Okay? So you can put something like, this is a flatbed load, so needs 6 to 8 foot tarps. You know, anything that your driver skill that you will see in the thing there. So, yeah, this is the premium version of Ascend. Charles, I'm not sure unless you show building a load in your version. So, now the private notes is only going to be viewable by your organization, your brokerage. So you can make special, you can say have carrier call for dispatch. And then the load posting notes and comments, the text entered in this field will be sent to the load notes. So it'll be, so if you posted the load on 1, 2, 3 load board or because Ascend TMS premium version, you can post loads to, it'll go automatically to truck stop, internet truck stop, and 1, 2, 3 load board. So you can post a load. You can post this load, but we're building the loads. We're going to view and send the documents. You can actually start a load, build a load, and actually post it if you're looking for trucks. So, but we're not going to use that feature now. We're just building this load because we are assuming that we selected number 2. We called the shipper, said we got the truck for number 2, and they gave it to us for $1,600. Okay. So right here, we just say, you can say the same thing you set up in the public. All right, there. That's the customer information. Now, I mean, that's the load basics. Customer information, whoever your customer is. Now, your customer can be the shipper. Now, as you get shippers into your organization, you're going to add them to the TMS system, so that data is going to be saved. So let's say, for example, I got some customers in here. I should have some right here. So right here, they're already in here. Tampa International is not in there, but let's go back and add Tampa International as one of our customers, so we can come in here and add them as an option here. But let's pretend for now that Stark Ford products, because they're the same company. Let's assume that Stark is the one that's giving us this load instead of Tampa. Okay, just for the sake of argument. So that data is already in there. So let's choose. So when you select one, it's going to fill everything else up with their information. If you notice right here, it fills everything up with their contact information and everything. And then the customer reference number, we'll just say 123 like we did with the unload number stuff. Okay. Go to the next one. You got that information. Now if you notice, you can either go here or go back to load base down here, or proceed to carry information, or you can do it up here. You see, right now we're in customer information, so you can either go back to load basics, or you can go back, or you can go over to customer information. We just did customer information, so let's go now to either carrier/asset information. We can do it down there, so we just choose the next one. So now you got two options here. I am using my own asset/driver as a carrier for this load, which in this case I'm not, because I am not an asset-based broker. So I am using an outside carrier, or in this case, outside carrier is the same thing as an approved carrier for this load, so that's the option that I'll choose. So the carrier is not set, so you can enter information for the carrier. Let's just say I got some carriers in here. This is the produce, this is the reefer load, so I'm not going to put a reefer guy on a flatbed load. But let's just choose it anyway. Let's just pretend that produce fresh transport is a flatbed trailer. Okay, let's just pretend, just to show you how it works. So that once you select a carrier that's already in your system, approved, and it's in your TMS, it'll add it for you, all the data, and you can edit. You can edit other things as well and add it there. Right. So now the driver is not set. Let's edit the driver. We'll just say Tashawn.
Yo.
I don't want to save you. We'll just put Charles. And see, I don't want to create a new. I just want to make sure that you can put something there. That way. There. And all this other. So now we're going to the stops. Edit stops. And every field is editable. You can change things as you see fit. Heads up, this carrier has been marked OK to load. So you got marked OK to load. And go back to that. Let's go to edit stops. Stops. The stop types, there's only two stop types. There's either pickups or deliveries. So now the pickups, we'll do pickups first. We're going to add pickups. The stop location. It was what? Grayson, Alabama? Yeah. And it's searching. Hopefully it finds that address. If not, that's fine. Grayson, Alabama. Bam, there it is. All right, so we just put that. We won't put specific city, states. I'm just showing you how it can be done. Primary contact, you can fill that in if you want. It's optional. Optional notes, things like that. So it's save and return. So now it's in there as a pickup. Stop location, primary. So now the stop action, what is it? Is it a pickup? Is it a delivery? Well, this is the pickup. This is the pickup stop. So there you go. Right? And then you have other information here. Cargo description. You can say lumber. Reference numbers 1, 2, 3. Start. What's the pickup date? It was. Let's say it was today. And let's say it picks up at 18 or 2200, which is 10 o'clock tonight. It picks up tonight. Driver instructions. Call dispatch. Up on. All right. So now we want to save that stop. Okay. So now, and that's just one type. You could have more than one pickup. You could have more than one delivery. Like particularly with reefers, you might have like 3 picks and 4 drops, or 1 pick and 2 drops, or 1 and 1, and things like that. So while it's thinking, saving that stop, I'm going to close some other stuff so it won't be too. So there's our one pickup. So now we need a delivery. Now we need a delivery stop, or a type of stop that's a delivery. So we're going to add delivery now. I'm going to add the location, which for here it says Saginaw, Texas, right? Saginaw, Texas. Put it there. Primary contact. You can put information in here for the person you need to. When you go to a shipper or a receiver to pick up, they usually give a person to contact, their phone and everything. This is where you'll put that information. Okay? And now we'll save that. So now that's their notes. So now the type of the stop action, it is a delivery there. So now it's a delivery. Cargo, still lumber. Reference is still 1, 2, 3 for the load. It picks up, it's 680 miles, so that'll be what? So pick up the day it's going to deliver Monday. Let's say Monday, which is the 18th. We won't put a time. Driver, call dispatch upon arrival. And of course, you add more notes and stuff. You want to add contact people in case he gets lost, emails and stuff like that as you go to make it more presentable. So you save that stuff. So now you're building your rate confirmation here. You're building the load, your rate confirmation. So now we're done with the stops because it was just a 1 and 1, 1 pickup, 1 drop. So now while it's thinking, the next thing we're going to go to is the financials. And here's where the trick is. Well, it's not really a trick, but it's the way you tweak it. All right, so now we're in financials. So now we have 2 sections here. You have the income budget section and the expenses. So the income is what you're paying, what the shipper is paying you, right? So with that, we need to add a line item. The income, we'll just say, in this case, it was we pretended that Stark Forest was Tampa International, which is the shipper. So once it's searching, once it's done searching, it'll come up with something. The category is going to be a flat rate. The rate is going to be, what did we say, Tayshawn? $1,600, right? That you negotiated up
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this income is from, it should show the shippers, here we go. All your shippers, it'll appear, we pretending now to start forest product is the same as Tampa International for the sake of time and everything. So we have to enter, right? And then save pay item. So that's the line item for that. So they're paying $1,600. Now the expenses is what we're going to pay to the carrier. So the income is what we're getting from the shipper, and the expenses is what we're paying to the carrier. So we got to create a line item for that. And our carrier was, we just pretended that this company was our carrier. It was a flat rate, and we're paying them $1,500, right, Deshaun? Was it 1,500?
Yeah, 1,500.
Okay. So now I got this open, right? But if you notice this gray area on the side right here, right now it's nothing. But when you hit 1,500 for your expense, you're going to save that item. Look what happens. 1,500 is paid to you. You're paying out 1,500 to your carrier. So here's your gross profit, $100. So it's doing it for you.
Okay.
It's all integrated. So even when you build your invoice in the TMS, it's going to reflect all of this too when you go to build your invoice. But right now I'm just showing you building the load.
Hey, so is this how we send the rate card?
Yeah, I'm doing a Raycon now. So right now, so if you want to do a Raycon, I'm not going to save and exit and go to the load board because I don't want to post it on the load. I'm just giving you an example. So right now for the Raycon, let's view and send load docs. That's the area where you go for the Raycon. So if you hit view or load docs, so now it created all of these, it generated these documents for you. It generated the invoice, which you will send to the shipper, which is your customer, the invoice document for this load to be sent to the customer, the shipper, on the load payment after the load has been delivered. That's your invoice. It generated that. Customer confirmation, you send that to your customer, the shipper. Carrier confirmation, blind carrier confirmation, a bill of lading, which is system generated, third-party bill. So right here, the carrier confirmation is right there, which is load confirmation. The blind carrier confirmation is the same thing as a load confirmation. It just doesn't have the addresses on there specifically, but it does have the information for the carrier without the specific addresses of where it's going and things like that. But the main one is right here where it says carrier confirmation. So we'll hit this link right here. There we go. I should double click. I'm sorry. Double clicked it. So now this is the load confirmation or the rate confirmation as we call it. Let me download it so I can open it up so you guys can see it in a larger. I'm just going to put it on the desktop and just call it. Just leave it like that. Just title load confirmation on the desktop. And there it is right there. So the broker company information right here, the load confirmation today, the load number, the date, flatbed, 40,000 pounds, dry goods, distance in miles. I didn't fill anything in. I just gave you some general information so you can see the process. You'll put more information to fill all this stuff in later, but and then the stops, the pickup today at 2200 in Alabama, according to load number 2, Grayson, Alabama. And then reference number 123, the cargo's number, driver instructions, call dispatch upon arrival, deliver Monday the 18th in Saginaw, Texas, right? Saginaw, Texas. And if you notice on the load confirmation is the rate that you're selling to the carrier, the $1,500, not what the broker sold to you. Because if you were to put that $1,600 on the load confirmation, the same amount that the shipper sold to you, that means you made no money. You did all this for nothing. So now here's where you email this to the carrier. Now you're the broker, right? You know how as dispatchers we used to get rate confirmations from the brokers. Now we're doing that. Now it's flipped. Now we're doing what they do. We're sending the load confirmation to our approved carriers, so their driver can put their driver first and last name there and cell number here, and print and sign and date. So, and then they send that back to us, and now we're all set. That's now, of course, this information will be more detailed. You'll have more detail in here, you know, city, state, and zip, street address. You'll have pickup contact information, delivery contact information with the contact person, the POC, point of contact, their cell number, things like that. So, yeah. Now, Charles asked a question. If we have a factory company, then we need to keep in mind the shipper rate needs to cover the cost. Yeah, because you have factory, whatever that percentage that factory company charges, then yeah, you want to keep in mind that your shipper rate should cover that cost of covering that factory percentage. So yeah, if you only make $50, then you are in the hole. Not necessarily. If you're moving volume, and this is just one customer. Say this is one customer, and you're moving 10 loads a day, or let's say 5 loads a day. 5 loads a day for that one customer. But say you got 3 customers doing the same thing, your factory company is only charging you 5% or 3%. So if you look at it from a volume standpoint over time, you wouldn't be in a hole. And as you build up, your $50 per load that you're charging could grow to $100 per load or $150 per load. That's why it's a good idea to go after shippers who have good paying loads in such a way that you'll be able to make your a decent spread, like between $100 to $200. I know some brokers will try to make $500 per load. So if you make it $100 to $200 per load and you're moving 5 loads a day, that's what, $500 to $1,000 a day right there. $5,000 a week. Yes, I do use that. I do use that load board. Yes, sir. You had a question about that? But this is the rate card. So if we go back into the documents section, go back to the documents list. So when your carrier gets to the shipper, he's going to have a confirmation, a load confirmation that's showing, you know, the pickup number and everything, the load number, so the shipper can identify what load to load that truck with, or you know, that flatbed with. So that's all going to be on the confirmation. And when they get loaded, the driver at the shipper, they're going to give them. The shipper's going to give the driver the BOL, the bill of lading, to take with them to deliver the load at the receiver. So once the shipper gets to the receiver with the rate confirmation and the BOL is the receipt, proof of delivery, the bill of lading. So once they get to the receiver, it gets offloaded and they check everything and everything checks out. Then the receiver is going to sign it and the driver is going to sign it to confirm as proof of delivery of that load. That's how that works. So, and then the driver is going to, of course, send a copy of the BOL and their invoice to the brokerage, because the broker needs a copy of the BOL as their invoice when they invoice the shipper, because there's no point in sending a shipper an invoice without a BOL, without a proof of that load being delivered from the broker side. You need a copy of that BOL as well. And also, if the carrier has a factory company, and of course, they'll just send a copy, take a picture of that BOL and upload it to the factory company, so the factory company can pay them, you know, ahead of time, minus their percentage for that service, and go from there. But that's how it works. When the carrier gets to the shipper, they'll give the shipper the load number to say, yeah, I'm here to pick up load number 1008. 10008. It's going from it's going to a load of lumber going to Saginaw, Texas. He's already in Grayson, Alabama, so he don't need to say where it's picking up at because he's at the location. So he'll just say, I'm here to get load number 10008 going to Saginaw. They'll say, okay, go to door number 2. Lot number 7. He's a flatbed, so go to lot number 7. You got a forklift, a huge one, started loading the truck with the lumber, and then he puts his straps on there and tarp it and whatever. And then he'll go into the shipping office again, and then pick up the BOL. Sign the BOL, because on the BOL you got to sign initially at the shipper that you picked it up. And then you take that same BOL because there's carbon copies. There's like 3 or 4 sheets. So you sign the initial one picking it up, and then you tear the bottom piece off, leave that with the shipper showing that you picked up the load. And then you got 2 more pieces left, depending on how many carbon copies they have. Then you drive to deliver the load to the receiver. Once you get unloaded, then you sign the remainder of it saying, okay, I delivered it. There was nothing damaged. Even if there was something damaged, they'll notate that on the BOL, and then they'll just deal with that later on. But let's say, for example, that the load was delivered successfully. Then you sign the BOL, tear off the copy, leave that with the receiver, and you got your own copy for yourself, Mr. Driver. Then you send a copy to us, the brokerage. We get a copy because we have to bill our customer, who's the shipper, so we can get paid, and then go from there. So that's how that works. Are there any questions about that? This is just one TMS system how to use Ascend, but building the load is you taking the load tender from the shipper that you got the load from, and you building the load rate confirmation and selling it to the carrier.
So Charles, I know Ascend to other. Is there any like free training sites where we can get access to actually building the load in the system like you just did there, so we can actually, get that hands-on experience in a sense?
Let me do this real quick. Cancel this load. Because you're on the platform, I may be able to give you guys this one, particularly students. I got guests on here too, but she won't mind. So, okay, I know this cancel, so it's gone. So let's go down here to Learn. Let's go to Learn. Because even in the free version of Ascend, it should have some tutorials for you guys. Did I log out of Ascend?
And then also, how can we find, I don't know if we can, but find loads that Metro 9 has available, because, so we got carriers. So, like, how can we get access to their loads that they have available they're looking to have moved?
Right now, the loads that we have now, they're not good paying loads. I mean, you could try to move them, but I can work on that with Kim, because we got the lump loads that just showed me these here, and I got a few others. But I'll talk to Kim tonight or tomorrow and ask her about that. Because right now
we got carriers all over the place. So if y'all got loads coming from wherever, we could probably move some of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. Let me go back here. I thought I was in Learn.
And think about it, that one that we was talking about getting it for $1,600. Where that was going to, Texas?
Yeah, it was going from Alabama to Texas.
That's lumber, right? You said?
Yeah, lumber. These are all lumber loads. All these are lumber loads, and matter of fact, this one here, Tampa International, we're ironing out some things with them. We're sending over some insurance because this shipper, even though they're moving lumber and their loads are hard paying, they still want to be assholes and say, okay, you need a certain type of insurance, certain type of coverage. So we said, well, so Kim asked me to say, do you really want to deal with them? I said, yeah, because they're high volume, even though their lows don't pay as much, but they're high volume, so we can move some of them, you know, kind of cherry pick a little bit. But
okay. So this is pretty much good for somebody with a flatbed.
Right. Yeah, these are flatbed loads, 48 and 53 foot flatbeds. I could have sworn. Let me log back in, because we had in this sin there is unless they took them out, I don't know why they would do that, but we got to schedule some training, free training options. But there were some. Click here to start your training. Quick overview how to start this. And there were videos that you click and build a load. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. Build a load. So what I'm gonna do, and let me know if you. I'm just gonna grab the YouTube.
In this video, we're going to review how to build a load in Ascent TMS. So, to begin the load building process, we're going to simply click on Build a Load. Now select Use.
Sorry about that. Let me actually give it to you and see, and let me know if you can open it up right then and there. All right, click it and see if you can open it up. And anybody can tell me if they can or not. Because it's YouTube, it's free, so it should be able to.
Yes, it'll.
And that's an 8-minute video of basically what we just did, and it's a little bit more too of building the load. And there are other things too. There's invoicing, there's accounts management, but that's later on down the line, and that's more on the broker side of Kim and Tiffany. They handle all the accounts management stuff. All we do is find the shippers and book the loads and build those loads and get the rate contract. They do everything else. So, yep. So that'll be that's a good start for you. And Ascend TMS, there are other ones, but the ones that you're going to be using with us, for those who are coming on or think about coming on, down the line, building a load in 8 minutes, 5 seconds, so you can just go over the same thing that we just talked about, and okay. So this is all the main thing. So when you learn that and you get access to us, and then that's what you'll be doing. And let me see, I think. Okay, I made Kim from the next Metro. Can you unmute yourself? Let me see. I see Metro Night Logistics. So.
Hello.
Hey, there she is.
Hi.
Okay, everyone. I want to introduce you to my boss. This is Kim with Metro Night Logistics. She's the broker. So, anyone have any questions for Kim? Now's the time. How you doing, Kim?
I'm doing great. Doing great. How's everyone doing?
Everyone's saying hi. Hi, Karen says hi. So I was just taking them through a walkthrough with Sin and showing them a sample of building a load, and then we was asking some other basic questions. But
yeah, I got the question there.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry, I'm running behind, caught up in traffic.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But we was wondering, how can we access loads that you guys have available that need to be moved? Because some of us that's on here doing this training right now, we actually have carriers. So
Okay.
maybe we can help move some of those loads. And, I was asking Charles about it, but he wasn't too sure when to talk with you on here, but you're on here, so.
Exactly. So what we're doing right now, we're trying to develop, and with Charles trying to develop we're trying to see if we can get a load board going that's specific to us, because we do have loads that are there. Charles and those are, working hard every day, getting shippers in daily. So we definitely want to have you guys access that as well. So as soon as we get that finished, we will definitely be back in touch with you, because you guys will have first access to that.
Okay. Awesome.
And also, on top of that, because Tashana is saying he has carriers, so one of the first processes, like I was saying earlier, one of the first processes that we want to do, if you got carriers, we want to get them approved under Metro Night starting out, because you don't want to go to a shipper telling them you got a carrier for a load without having an approved carrier, because now you're stuck with that load in a sense. So we want to make sure that the carrier is approved under Metro Night, approved carriers. We're building up that carrier base, so then when we see loads and we got the carriers matching, all we got to do is go to the shipper and say, hey, yeah, go ahead and send us that tender. We got a guy for this one, and they'll send it over, and then we go through that, and then we go through the process of building that load, getting that Raycon, and getting that whole process.
So I'm glad you said that. So are y'all able to start taking the carriers and bringing them in? Because I'm pretty sure the guys that I'm working with now, I wouldn't mind creating that with you guys already, to have them already in the system. Is that possible to happen now? We'll not do it right now, but I'm just saying.
Now, I was going to ask Charles. Charles, have you sent that? Have you accessed, because we can get that information, and at that point, they can always get sent over a carrier packet. And at that point, once that carrier packet comes back, you'll send it. We have an email now, Exodus. We have the Exodus at metronight.com, and that can be sent over to that email. And then here in the office, we'll do the vetting and make sure that everything's good with that carrier. Go through their safer profile and make sure all those things are good. And then we go from there and, get them on, and then we start working for them.
Okay.
There you go. So the ones who are in the platform now, Kim, who are members of Freight Broker 101, do I just send them, go ahead and just send them the carrier packet so they'll have it on file themselves as students? So when they send them to the carrier, say, here's the carrier packet, it gets filled out, and then in the body of the email, have them have the carrier. Well, they'll send it back to them, that particular student, like Tayshawn, for example, and then Tayshawn sends it to Exodus at Metro Night. That way I'll know which student it's from, so I can categorize which. Yeah.
Exactly. We can have a tracking system then that way.
There you go. So so that's the green. So I'm assuming that's the green light, and I can send the students who are already in Freight Broker 101 at least give them a copy of the carrier package so they can have it.
That's fine. Love to have them. Spread them out. Spread them around, please.
Okay. All right.
How many people do we have on today?
We got Charles. We got some guests in here too. We got Charles Adair. We got Felicia. I think Felicia's a student. Karen. We have Anonymous Kendra, who's Kendra, 225 and 832 area codes. We got Gwen, she's a student. We got Mary Pugh. I think she's on Hodge's call center group. We got about 11 people here right now. Yeah. Felicia's a student on the platform. So I got my spreadsheet of all who are students. So whoever is a student on Freight Broker 101, I'll go ahead and get the carrier packet sent to them, so they'll have it in their filing system, so they can start reaching out to their carriers and say, hey, yeah, sell with this brokerage. We got some loads that we probably can call you about moving. So
yeah. We're excited about it. We're excited about it. People coming on, and excited about you guys learning more and more, and that when you do come on, you're well abreast and can just jump right in and get running.
There you go.
I'm gonna let you finish up. You guys are doing a Send TMS. I'm gonna stay on until the entirety tonight. The rest of the time that you guys have left, I don't know. You have about 30 minutes or so?
Yeah, about 30 minutes. Probably Q&A right now.
Okay, I'll stay on.
Yeah, so Karen, we got one more question. So would you mind if we had access to the Ascend TMS if we're actually in the training?
Yeah, actually we and Charles and I get with it, but the thing with it is that with the Ascend TMS, each user we have to pay for each user.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those, because we have the premium account. We don't have that free account. The free account usually is pretty much just one. Now the thing with it, you can get on Ascend TMS. They do have a free platform. And you can play around in that free platform as well.
Right, but the only thing that we discovered on this training tonight, I guess, I think Charles Adair said he has the free version, but it doesn't have the capability of building a load in that one. Because it's not premium. Right. Yeah. So the only thing with that is I may have to, say Sean gets a carrier approved under Metro Night, and we find a load for that carrier. I may have to be the one going in there, or one of somebody else who has access to Ascend have to go in and actually build that load and process. It'll probably be me, since I'm going to be the one splitting my commission with. Yeah. So.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Because I'm not sure how that works as far as
I'm trying to answer Karen. I'm trying to answer Karen here.
Oh, okay, go ahead. The bulk rate option. Now, and I don't know too, because I let people use my login on my internet truck stop. I'm not sure if Ascend does that or not.
Well, you can go on there. You can have one person. It's just they can't be on there at the same time. So, like, if you wanted to, you would have to share that one login, and then I think it's going to. I know that is like that. It's gonna, when somebody else tries to get on there, it's gonna knock the other person off, and they can't do anything. So I'm not sure, because we haven't had that much activity like that where one person had. Because I think we have 3 or 4 users right now that we're paying for. And so we haven't had that type of activity, somebody to knock it off and be using that other person's thing. So I don't know. I have to call them Monday morning in regards to trying to do a one-on-one. Somebody requested a one-on-one session so they can get a little bit more detailed information. So I do have to call them then. And so when I call that, we have a couple of reps, because we have one on the logistics side and one on the trucking side. I'll call one of those guys and ask them those questions. I know I asked them originally about the bulk rate option, and they did not have one, and you still had to do, of course they're trying to get all the money they can get, so that you still had to pay for each user. But I will find out, and I'll let them know kind of what we're doing, and where we're headed really with everything, and I will find that out, and then I also will find out if someone would get knocked off if they had the other one as well.
Right. So in the meantime, I'll probably be the one building the load and getting all the stuff.
Yeah, amongst all the other things that you're juggling, yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay. That's fine.
We're gonna make it work. We're gonna try to make it work, though.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Because once you in Ascend, once you set up the templates, if you set up templates for your shippers and you're moving loads to them all the time, then that process of building that load will be quicker, because you got to enter all that information all the time. You just go in there and grab that data, and then it'll do that. What's the cost of Ascend? Is it $49 a month, or is it more?
It's that, plus then you start adding on the users.
So okay.
I believe it is. I'm trying to see.
So this is nice. We got a live broker training. Isn't that amazing?
I'm gonna look that up, and you guys here, I'm gonna get back with you. I'm actually researching it right now, trying to look and see if I can find a statement.
Okay, yeah, I had I sent 2 things to you too, Kim. By the way, the carrier setup packet, and then there was a shipper packet that was earlier I had for you.
Yeah. And Tiffany just told me she is en route. She was coming from out of town. She had a meeting out of town today, and she just told me that it was there, and that was something we were going to have to review all that this weekend and get that back, all that information back, so we can get you going for Monday.
Yeah, that's fine. That's a reefer. That's a refrigerated shipper. They're out of. I forget where they're out of. I talked to the guy on the phone earlier, and I think it was Timberlake Foods.
Oh, so, yeah, and actually, I've already, and so I jumped on that a little ahead of time. I already sent, and I have to send that to you for the COI for them to be listed on there as cert holder already.
Okay.
So I jumped ahead. I jumped ahead because I sent that to her to look up for tasks, actually for the factoring company, and make sure they were good with them as well. So that's the last thing we need to do. But she hasn't come in. I don't have that password. So I didn't have it on me, so she has to just look up and see what they're, have they been through them, and to see if they have a green light and if they're okay for us to do billing with them.
Yeah, that's no worries. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I was explaining to the members too that just starting off as a broker, like if you have an idea of being a broker, I was saying, like, for me, and what I recommend, you will be better served working under someone who's already a brokerage as opposed to starting off cold turkey as a broker, because you got a lot of things to deal with. You got the expenses, the legal compliance, the cost of brokering, the building of your credit, because when you go after shippers, if you're not established, they'll probably give you a harder time as opposed to if you were established. But if you start off as a freight agent, get that experience, build your book of business, take your customers with you, there's your credit. So, but I just wanted to see what your thoughts was on that as well.
You talking to me, Charles?
Yes, I am talking to you, Kim.
I was listening. I was like feedback. But yes, it and I try not to whatever. But yes, you do have to have starting off, and I think you guys probably have discussed that probably in previous sessions, that you do have to have fairly decent credit because of the fact those $75,000 surety bonds and those things are dependent upon how much you have to put down is dependent upon your credit. So you have some people that, I think ours is like maybe 2,500, maybe, I think it was. 2,500. You have some people that's even just, that knock it out the park and that only have to maybe do 1,800. I heard a guy say he only had to do 18. Now 1,800 is about the least I've heard. Now there's been some people that are double that they have to put that down for that they have to put 5,000, and some that they just did not even accept at all for various reasons. I don't know. I was just talking to, is Brandy on here?
No, she's driving her kids. I lost you for a minute. I lost my internet for a minute.
Okay.
But I got it back like 30 seconds. But Brandy's not on here. She says she's driving with her kids to drop her kids off. She's an hour from her destination. Been driving for about 3 hours now. So.
So and then of course I see what Charles put. He paid $16.95. Now it varies too, because we probably could have gotten a better deal. Initially starting, we probably went for jump right out, and we didn't do a whole lot of shopping, to be honest with you. We didn't do a whole lot of shopping because we just were trying to get it done quick as possible, and we just went ahead, and I think we almost went for about the first or second quote that we got. We really didn't shop like we should. That would be my advice to anybody, is to shop around and, to try to get the best deal, because a lot of people won't, they're going to just give you whatever, especially when you're brand new and you have never done it before. They're going to ask sometimes for your experience, what type of experience you have. And they ask I think the one that we have is JW Surety Bonds. Yeah, that's the one that we do. That's the one that we deal with. And I've heard that they sometimes can be a little higher.
Yeah, because when in the trainings, I list the requirements for brokering, and one of it is the bond. It's either a surety bond, which is the BMC 84, or the trust fund, which is the BMC 85. Both are $75,000. One's based off of a line of credit. The other one's like you can just throw in an escrow account and use as a way of paying for.
Yeah, the 85.
That's the 85, right?
Mm-hmm, 85.
So yeah, and in the range of the premiums for the $75,000 bond that I see is anywhere between $900 and $2,250. It used to be between $900 and $4,600 a year. That's annual premium, but now it's between $900 and $2,250 a year. So you can break that down in monthly payments, or you can pay it all, whatever. But that's the range. So Charles is saying he paid $16.95 for his. I guess
so we paid even more. We paid even more, and I mean, I think, I mean, I don't know. I think, like I said, it probably is based on that we probably could have shopped around for a better deal because of the fact that I know I'm above 700. So, I know we probably could have shopped around for a better deal than, with a lot of it after I talked to a few people. But this last time it was actually a little less. It was actually a little less this last time, so I'm reading. I'm still looking for this Ascend. If I don't find it right now, then I will definitely get back and let you guys know exactly how much that premium is and then per user.
Oh yeah, we could Google that though, right?
I think so.
Yeah, cost of Ascend, TMS or whatever. Yeah, it's based on your credit. So the better credit score you have, that can dictate the lower rate that you're going to pay per year, annual. So, the higher you're 700, 750 or whatever, then, you'll have a better chance of getting a better rate. So yeah, that's Charles, that's a good point.
Yep.
Any other questions? Anybody got about 18 minutes? See here of the costs. It says $49, 3 user minimum. So
I think we're paying per. They have us paying per. It was a base, and then it was
right. So,
but I know we're over, and that might be because we might be over a little bit over that now, getting into a little bit over that. So I know because I know with the next one, I'm gonna ask them how much it is per user after the 3 even.
Okay.
As you can see, I don't do the accounting for the company much. I'm not really engaged. I'm engaged to a certain point, but I don't do the day-to-day accounting part of it.
That's Tiff's department.
Yeah, Tiffany's department is that. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put this link in here just to have it for you guys, just in case. It's a large link. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So the broker requirements, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I list some of those things in there. Of course, the type of authority. The authority costs $300, 4 to 6 weeks to receive the results, to get that letter. The type of bond, surety bond, BMC 84, trust fund, BMC 85. Why do you need a bond? Even the requirements, there are sub-requirements for a surety bond. Somebody mentioned that earlier. The requirements for a surety bond, because they're going to check. They're going to check your credit, so you got to be a U.S. citizen, no bankruptcies in progress, no judgments or liens more than $1,500. A lot of people didn't even know this. When I did the research and I found this out, I'm like, wow. So most people are applying for a bond and not even know that they may not qualify based on some of these sub-requirements of application of a bond itself. So, no judgment liens more than $1,500 responsibility, no past due child supports, and then no open or prior surety claims. So, if you have any of these within, if you don't meet those requirements, you may not apply for a surety bond. You can take the trust fund out, but that's because you gotta have that money. I don't think I have it up front, but $5,000, put that in escrow or whatever, or an ILOC, a letter of credit. So. And then, of course, the processing agent, the BOC3, then your insurance, liability cargo, what have you, contingency cargo, stuff like that. Of course, UCR, your registration, once a year. I think it's once a year, right, Kim? Brokers and motor carriers?
Yes, it is once a year. Usually at the top of the year, the first couple of months.
Right, because I read something about something biennial. You have to renew it every 2 years. Biennial, update it every 2 years. Once a year, you have to register or update it. Even if you change something, like if you have a name change or anything like that, you have to make that update. So, okay. Freight broker costs, things like that, business costs, authority costs, security bond costs. There it is, my information, 921. Now this is something. This is if someone is actually going to do it themselves. And the other extra expenses, like the cost of hardware, like your computers for your office, things like that, monitors, software costs, like the TMS systems, that could be anywhere between $50 to $100 a month. And there's some examples of TMS systems: eFreight Solutions, Load Pilot, Ascend. So load board costs with rate make tools included, because you're going to need that. That's anywhere between $50 to $500 a month. Internet truck stop, DAT, Dollar Truck. Then accounting software like QuickBooks Pro, as an example, $40 a month, or $40 for the software, I should say. So there's little accessorial costs involved in being a broker just starting off. But if you want to minimize these costs, I would stress and consider coming up under someone who's already established, who already has a brick and mortar or even working from home possibilities as an agent. That way, a lot of these costs are cut, because especially the higher end costs like the bonds and the authorities and stuff like that, because you're under someone who already has authority and is established. So you can eliminate those costs and still build the revenue up to the point where maybe six months to a year, you have enough revenue to sustain yourself for 6 months to a year based off of what you were doing as an agent under the broker. And then you can branch off, take your own book of business with you. There's your credit, there's your experience, there's your know-how. You can, start your own brokerage. So Charles says, I take notes of everyone who called, and after I had a chance to consider costs, I chose who to deal with. Yeah, basically it's research. Yeah, and you're right. When you do apply for your authority, you will get flooded with calls. I applied for authority just as a show of practice, still getting calls. So, I have to block numbers. So, if I do that, I should have put a fake number in. Yeah, let's learn. I am so happy that Kim called in. That is a blessing. That is a blessing. So, other costs, software costs, communication costs, websites, high-speed internet, telephone, like Ring Central, voice over IP, and then other costs, credit builder stuff, contingency cargo. These are optionals. And these are all estimates again. Factory companies, 5% per invoice, recourse. Freight broker training, anywhere between $100 and $5,000. Can you believe somebody's charging $5,000? And then shipper list, you can purchase shipper list up to $500. If I'm going to pay somebody $5,000 for broker training, they better give me at least 5 shippers, like, as part of the deal. Like, if I'm paying you half of that, $2,500 for freight broker training. Don't just teach me a script on calling shippers. Actually, give me some shippers. Show me how to actually build a load and things like that. For $2,500 to $5,000, there is no way on this planet that I'm paying $2,500 to $5,000 to do that. So you got. There has to be some guarantees, because $2,500, that's too much money in this day and age. That's too much money to give up for some training that may not get you what you really need. That's why I'm glad that this platform is ongoing for the low price of $3.99. You get ongoing training, and it is too much. you get ongoing training, and you get to you move at your own pace, and we work as a team. So, yeah. Especially if you work an hourly job, it is too much. So $2,500, unless you got $2,500 laying around and you say I want to go ahead and throw that away, then that's fine. So I haven't had the pleasure of going through any freight broker trainings to see exactly what they do, but some of the ones I've watched on YouTube, I don't know. And I'm not tooting my horn by any means, but I don't know. I do more now, and I just started. So it is what it is. I'll take the humble route. I'll be humble. So Tashawn says he may stop by Kim at some point. He's about 2 miles from me. 2 miles or 2 hours. 2 miles? You that close to her? There you go. Kim, Tayshawn may pay you a visit. Yeah. Yeah, I want to be as expensive as possible, so. Yeah. Okay, guys, so it's 8 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Are there any questions? Guests, I'd like to thank you again. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evenings. It's been a long day for me. I had dispatcher training this morning, and then I actually booked a load with a guy on the dispatching side. It was whoever was in dispatching training, they saw me book a load for my reefer guy. They didn't see me to completion because I had to get off the phone and get enough rest for tonight. But we booked a load that paid $5,300 for the reefer going from the Philadelphia area over to California. So $5,300 at 7%, it's like 300 something, 371. So yeah. So okay, Kendra, what information did you miss? Because this recording was kind of spotty because it was in and out. My internet was intermittent a little bit because of the weather. It's raining out here in Virginia. So it was intermittent. So I don't know if the recording is going to be intermittent too, but that's fine. I'll just play it as is, and we'll get something from there. Yeah. Comments, questions, and I'll get this recorded. Now this recording is only going to be oh, this is Kendra. Is Kendra anonymous? Kendra, are you anonymous? Because I'm trying to see if that's you. Okay, you missed the last two stuff from the freight. Are you a student on the Freight Broker 101 training side? Okay.
Yeah, not yet, Charles. I'm probably joining in a couple of weeks.
Okay, that's fine. I think on the YouTube, I think I got the YouTube channel up for the videos, the recordings I'm going to put in the training page. Like I'm doing Dispatcher 101, I'm going to put for, I know for members only, and I'm deciding which trainings that I'm going to put in the YouTube as a marketing tool to promote the training as well. So, because on the marketing side.
So I may be able to go back to the last 2 or 3 weeks and look at those videos.
You may. I am screening which ones I put on YouTube. I don't want to put the major information that we do in training on the YouTube channel because I want to keep that specifically for the members. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I am going to be a member, Charles.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying for clarity and fairness to those who are already members, the more intensive type of training I keep in the back office of the training video section on the website, and then the basic marketing stuff for Freight Broker 101. There is some videos back there. I need to reference that real quick just to make sure. But yeah, I got you. I understand, Kendra. I got it.
All right.
Thank you, Felicia. I wish my wife could come out and read that because, according to her, I have no patience. I've learned so much from you. Okay. So everybody good? Enjoy your weekend, guys. Kim, you the best. You are the best.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you guys. Those that want to come on with Metro Night Logistics, we are open and we're ready for you guys to get trained up and come on over and join us and join the family. That's all I got to say. If you guys have any questions or any concerns, anything, even around, you can direct it through Charles, or you can also, maybe Charles will give you the email, and you can also email us with any questions in regards to maybe joining, in regards to maybe something that you can do, or just some information that you may have.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well put. Yeah, mine said, I'm interested and ready. See y'all Monday. Thank you. Yes, y'all both are the best. Thanks. Okay, guys. That's it. Guys, you have a good weekend. Be safe. Whoever's driving, drive safe. Again, for the guests, I appreciate your time that you took out of your day to join us. If you're considering joining, just reach out to me. Let me put my... You have a great weekend, Kim. I'm going to put my information right here for now for those who want to call me afterwards. Now, keep in mind, every night I go to bed at 9 o'clock sharp. So after 9 o'clock, because I get up very early in the mornings to go train at the gym. So like boxing, martial arts, treadmill, cardio, stuff like that. So I go to bed at 9 o'clock sharp. So she crack it up. Yeah, Kim, you already know. So I get up very early. I go to bed very early. So, but in between those times, I'm very reachable. So you can get to me. If that's my cell number, it's in front of me all the time. It's like my second, like a child or something. So, but yeah. So you guys enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there. There is a book I have recommended to read. Yeah, I do get at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. The earliest is 3 a.m. I get up at 4 sometimes, too. There's a book I'm reading. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. It's by Thomas Staley, Ph.D. It talks about the difference between wealth and money. It has some real good points in it. It's a very cerebral book. I can't put it down. I highly recommend it for you guys. It's about 250 pages. But it's called The Millionaire Next Door. If you get a chance to... $16, $17 right here. The Millionaire Next Door. So it's a very good book. There's another book too that I got. I read a lot, guys. So Investing 101. So but that first, The Millionaire Next Door, it talks about how millionaires are frugal. They don't spend a lot, but they save a lot. They create wealth by doing that. So it's just a mentality. We got to change our mentality of how we think about money, things like that. So not to get off the subject, but I just wanted to mention that to you guys. So I enjoyed your time. I hope that you guys got some level of understanding from me. Hopefully, I was able to give it to you clear and concise. So. Again, thanks, guests. For those members, I appreciate your time as well, of course. And if you want to learn and want to join, give me a call. My email is exoduslogisticsllc@yahoo.com. As a matter of fact, let me put that in there because I know you guys probably won't. Here. So my cell phone is there. My email is there. So, all right, 8 o'clock on the dot. Have a good, safe weekend. Everybody be safe. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family and loved ones. And until next Friday, till Monday for dispatching training. But I'll see you guys Monday for dispatching training, and then next Friday for Freight Broker 101. All right, guys. Love you guys. All right.